Okay, our next speaker is L.B. Deyo, and it is also L.B.'s sixth time giving an Nerd Nite talk. Come on.
Thank you, Mickey, for that wonderful nerd alert. You know, ladies and gentlemen, the Spear of Destiny is also called the Holy Lance. Well, I won't be calling it the Holy Lance, because anytime I called it the Holy Lance, I would have been giving up an opportunity to call it the Spear of Destiny. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Spear of Destiny, sitting in its museum stand in Vienna, Austria. And it is a handsome weapon, is it not? It is absolutely gorgeous, in my opinion. It does look like it's wearing a dress. Isn't that sweet? You would hardly believe that it was capable of murder. The Spear of Destiny, what is it? What is its provenance? Did it pierce the side of the Redeemer at Calvary? Did it confer the power of invincibility to whoever wields it? Did Charlemagne carry it to 47 victories, only to drop it at the 48th battle and be defeated? Was Hitler indeed obsessed with obtaining it? Did it inspire the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark? I'm just asking questions here. I guess what I'm really asking is it bullshit or not? I decided to find out. Now, what do you do when you want to find something out? You Google it. And I did exactly that. And I went to a site called museumreplicas.com. Right? Where else would I go? And I found these facts. Many great historical figures possessed this religious artifact, including Herod the Great, Maurice the Manichaean, Constantine the Great, Theodoric, Justinian, Charlemagne, Otto the Great, Pope John the 12th. Sadly, it is not easy to follow the line of those that possessed it perfectly. Napoleon attempted to seize it after the Battle of Austerlitz, but it had been smuggled out of Vienna prior to the battle, and he never found it. Eventually, it ended up in the Hofburg Treasure House in Vienna. It was there on September the 12th, 1912, that a young Adolf Hitler first laid eyes on it. He never lost the feeling that he had when first seeing it. And on the same day in 1938, when he annexed Austria, the Third Reich took control of it. During the final days of the war, the U.S. Army took possession of the spear. 90 minutes after capturing the spear, Adolf Hitler took his life. It was returned to the House of Habsburg shortly after. Is it bullshit or not? Well, I'll tell you one thing. The Spear of Destiny may be real in our world, and it may not, but in the world of DC Comics, it is very real. It plays a very important historical part in DC Comics, folks. You see, if you're like me, you've often wondered, why didn't Superman stop Hitler? That'll keep you up at night. Why didn't the Flash go over with Batman and stop Hitler? Well, it turns out there's an excellent reason. Hitler was in possession of the Spear of Destiny. And the Spear of Destiny would have put those superheroes under Hitler's control. And he would have then turned them against the Allies. Is it bullshit or not? Well, Marvel, we know Captain America went over and fought Hitler, so I don't know what Superman's problem was. You know, there's an Indiana Jones book. This is the first volume. And it's called Indiana Jones and the Spear of Destiny. And it says that Indiana Jones tried to prevent Hitler from obtaining the Spear of Destiny. It's awkward, isn't it, that the Indiana Jones canon contains Indiana Jones and the Spear of Destiny, as well as the movie Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? But nobody remembers that movie. Richard Wagner cared a lot about the Spear of Destiny. He put it in his opera, Parsifal. That opera is about the Fisher King. You may remember from the legend of the Holy Grail. And in it, the Fisher King's wound began when he was stabbed by the I almost said the Holy Lance. The Spear of Destiny. Would you look at that? Thank you so much. Thank you, Nerd Nite. 33 AD, at Golgotha, the place of the skull. History's most famous person, a man named Yeshua, is crucified. On what charge? It says in Luke 23, verse 2, we found this man subverting our nation. He opposes the payment of taxes to Caesar and claims to be Messiah, a king. Okay. As he hangs on the cross, dying, he is surrounded by Roman soldiers. The Jews, therefore, because it was the preparation that the bodies should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day, for that Sabbath day was an high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away. You see, if you're crucifying someone and you want to speed things up, you break the guy's legs because then he can't hold himself up and he suffocates faster. I don't know about you, but that makes me feel sick to my stomach. But when they came to Jesus and saw that he was dead already, they brake not his legs, but one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came out there blood and water. This is from the Gospel of John. The Gospel of John was written at around 100 CE or 100 AD, around 67 to 70 years after the event that it describes. Please note the description of the weapon itself with which Jesus was stabbed, a spear. This is the entire description in the Gospel of John. One of the soldiers with a spear. The soldier and the spear went unremarked upon in all existing writing for over 300 years. In the oldest known references to the legend, the apocryphal Gospel of Nicodemus, appended to late manuscripts of the 4th century Acts of Pilate, the soldier is identified as a centurion and called Longinus, making the spear's Latin name Lancia Longini. So what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? The Spear of Destiny. Is it in fact sitting in that museum in Vienna? a spear that was missing for 7 centuries before it was found, a spear whose only description in the written record is a spear. Well, the one in the museum is a spear. But is it bullshit or not? I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, and I thank you very much. And now I'll open it up to questions.
All right, first question in the back.
How far can it factually be traced back?
How far can the spear that's in the museum be traced back? The spear in the museum is believed to originate in the 7th century AD. They performed some kind of scientific tests on it, and they said that's when it was created, 7th century AD. So that would mean it was bullshit.
More questions? Okay.
Thank you for your talk. So let's say that there were such a thing as the Spear of Destiny, whether or not it's in the museum right now or perhaps it becomes uncovered. And somehow someone came to you and presented it to you and said, LB, have at it. What would you do with it if it was the real thing and had all the reputed powers of the folklore? Like, what would you do with it?
It's funny you should ask. Because that very thing happened to me. No, I would be invincible. I mean, I guess we'd all like to believe that given the power of invincibility, the power to conquer the very world, that we would behave with dignity, with respect for our fellow human beings, and with restraint. But let's be honest with one another. You would all be my slaves. You would all do whatever I said for as long as you lived your worthless lives. You would look fabulous.
It's definitely bullshit. I'm assuming you agree. In fact, it doesn't even really look like a spear. It looks more like a short sword, like a Roman short sword.
Well, here's the
A
thing.
gladius, if you will.
It does look like a short sword, like a Roman short sword. However, it is only the head of the spear that is in the museum, the shaft having been lost, possibly at one of many Charlemagne's battles. The thing is, when you look at a story like the story of the Spear of Destiny, what you find is that a lot of people would like to tell you all about it. And that's an interesting fact, isn't it? The absence of evidence seems to represent a kind of evidence all its own for people. And so if you go to YouTube, if you go look in the library or a bookstore, you're going to find every fact that I've reported about the spear and more backed up by the sworn statements of learned men. The fact is that in the book, in the year 1973, there was a guy. I think his name was something like Trevor Falconcrest or something like that. German guy, and he wrote a book that was called The Spear of Destiny, that was really the origin of a lot of this stuff. And it claimed everything about Hitler trying to obtain the spear just as he tries to obtain the Ark in Raiders of the Lost Ark. It claimed all these other things. And if you look at the evidence that the author presented, he said, well, I didn't so much as obtain evidence in the ordinary scientific way. I conducted a series of seances and asked a ghost about the Spear of Destiny. It really does say that. And now if you go on YouTube, you see these guys sitting in these magnificent European buildings, sitting in their suits and stuff, and they're like, yes, well, Hitler, blah, 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 blah. Hitler believed this, and they posted a guard by the sword in Vienna and made sure that no one stole it because Hitler wanted to. It's like, that's all bullshit. I think it's interesting.
Well, wait a minute. So if the Lance of Longinus is bullshit,
Yeah.
what about the shards of the one true cross? They're real, right?
Oh, those are real.
Okay. And
Those are
and
real.
and the Shroud of Turin.
Shroud of Turin.
Is that bullshit?
You tell me, is it bullshit or not?
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. Okay, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It is bullshit.
All right. Last question.
Sorry, this is a really dumb question, but are you aware that the Spear of Destiny is the central plot point of the Japanese anime series Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Would you mind repeating that, please?
The 1997 Japanese anime Neon Genesis Evangelion posits that the Spear of Destiny is actually an alien artifact that came to Earth thousands of years ago, and it's a device that ends the world.
Well, I wipe the egg off my face, folks. I've been standing here acting like there was no hard evidence. And it turns out there's a Japanese comic book.
Irrefutable. All right. Any more questions? I think that was the last one. All right. Thank you, LB.